the Knights Templar were forged in the crucible of war. From their earliest days, they stood at the forefront of the Crusader state's defense, becoming the vanguard of the armies of the Latin East. As the Christian kingdoms of the Holy Land faced constant threats from powerful Muslim forces, the Templars earned a reputation for bravery and grim determination. Following their formal recognition at the Council of Troyes in 1129, the Templars quickly joined Crusader campaigns across the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Throughout the 1130s and 1140s, they fought in raids and sieges, honing their skills and testing their tactics against determined foes. The fall of Edessa in 1144, a devastating blow to the Crusader cause, revealed the fragility of Christian control in the Holy Land. It underscored the urgent need for a permanent, elite military force like the Templars. In 1153, the Templars proved their worth during the Siege of Ascalon. This strategic port, controlled by the Fatimids of Egypt, had long served as a base for raids into Crusader lands. Capturing Ascalon was essential to secure the southern border of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Templar Knights were among the first to storm breaches in Ascalon's walls, engaging in brutal hand-to-hand combat through the city's narrow streets. When the city fell, the Crusaders gained a vital port and strengthened their frontier with Egypt for a generation. On the battlefield, the Templars became renowned for their disciplined heavy cavalry charges. Unlike feudal levies who fought for individual glory, Templar Knights trained to move in coordinated formations, delivering crushing assaults that could smash enemy lines. They learned to adapt Western mounted tactics to Eastern warfare, countering the fast-moving light cavalry of Muslim armies by combining knights, sergeants, and Turcopole auxiliaries into flexible, deadly forces. Their early victories and steadfast defense earned respect among Christian allies and instilled fear in Muslim opponents. Chroniclers praised their refusal to surrender and willingness to fight to the death, qualities that terrified enemies and emboldened Crusader armies. Beyond the battlefield, the Templars' constant patrols and garrisoning of castles stabilized Crusader borders. Their presence provided a measure of security for settlers, traders, and pilgrims in the often hostile Holy Land. They ensured communication and supply lines between the coastal ports and inland strongholds remained open, sustaining the fragile Christian states. Key leaders like Robert de Craon, the second Grand Master, guided the order through these early campaigns. Robert not only led Templars in battle, but secured vital papal support and generous donations across Europe, resources that kept the order fighting. Through these formative campaigns, the Templars evolved from humble protectors of pilgrims into a professional fighting force, central to the survival of the Crusader states. Their early engagements and victories cemented their place as an indispensable component of the Crusader military machine. The second half of the 12th century brought the pinnacle of Templar prestige and the beginning of their decline. It was marked by one of the greatest military disasters in Crusader history, the Battle of Hattin in 1187, a cataclysmic defeat that reshaped the Holy Land's fate. By the 1180s, alliances among Crusader states were unraveling, while Muslim forces unified under the brilliant and determined Salah ad-Din, known in the West as Saladin. Templar Grand Master Gerard de Riedfort, ambitious and headstrong, played a key role in heightening tensions. His rash decisions often undermined more cautious voices among Crusader leaders. In July 1187, after Saladin laid siege to Tiberias, King Guy of Jerusalem led the Crusader army, including the Templars and Hospitallers, across the arid plateau near the Horns of Hattin. Saladin masterfully cut the Crusaders off from water, encircling them under the scorching sun. Dehydration and exhaustion crippled their ranks. When battle was finally joined on July 4th, Crusader discipline collapsed. Saladin's cavalry and archers closed in, devastating the Christian army. The True Cross, the holiest relic carried into battle, was captured, an immense spiritual and symbolic blow to Christendom. Nearly the entire Crusader army was killed or taken prisoner. The Templars and Hospitallers, forming the rearguard, fought with ferocity, but were overwhelmed. After the battle, Saladin ordered the execution of nearly all captured Templar and Hospitaller knights, aiming to break the military order's power once and for all. The consequences of Hattin were swift and devastating. Muslim forces swept through the Holy Land, capturing Acre, Jaffa, and countless other strongholds. On October 2nd, 1187, Jerusalem itself fell to Saladin after a brief siege. The loss of the Holy City shocked Europe, igniting the call for the Third Crusade. Betrayals and blunders among Crusader lords and military orders were widely blamed. Chroniclers debated whether Gerard de Riedfort's recklessness, lack of unified command, or internal rivalries doomed the Crusaders as much as Saladin's military brilliance. Despite the catastrophe, resistance continued. Conrad of Montferrat, supported by surviving Templars, held Tyre, a crucial coastal city that became a beacon of defiance. Templars who escaped regrouped in remaining fortresses, organizing defenses that kept Crusader hopes alive until the arrival of the Third Crusade. The psychological impact of Hattin was profound. It shattered the myth of Crusader invincibility, casting a long shadow over the Templars' reputation. Yet their determination to fight on and rebuild preserved their place as the backbone of resistance in the Holy Land. The Battle of Hattin marked a turning point not only in the Crusader state's fortunes, but also in the Templars' history. Though they survived as a powerful order, the haunting memory of Hattin underscored the desperate struggle that lay ahead. In the wake of Jerusalem's fall in 1187, a shockwave swept across Europe. The loss inspired widespread penitence and a determination that culminated in the Third Crusade, 1189 to 1192. At its heart were the Knights Templar, who, despite devastating losses at Hattin, would play a pivotal role in one of the Middle Ages' most storied campaigns. Pope Gregory V issued Audita Tremendi, calling upon Christian rulers to reclaim Jerusalem. Answering the call were three of Europe's mightiest monarchs: King Richard III of England, King Philip II of France, and Emperor Frederick the Mourant Barbarossa. With fortified positions along the Levantine coast, the Templars provided essential bases for the arriving Crusader armies, transforming ports and castles into hubs of supply and strategy. The Crusades' first major clash came at the Siege of Acre, 1189 to 1191. Acre was Saladin's crucial coastal fortress, and its capture would open the path for further advances. Templars joined the Crusader host, bringing siege engineers, ships, and seasoned warriors. They suffered heavy casualties in relentless assaults on Acre's walls. After 2 years of brutal fighting, the city fell in July 1191, a vital victory that restored a Crusader foothold in the Holy Land. King Richard the Lionheart quickly emerged as the Crusades' dominant leader. He recognized the Templars' unmatched expertise and relied on them as shock troops and advisors. Chronicles tell of Templar knights riding beside Richard into battle, executing disciplined cavalry charges that shattered enemy formations. Richard's preference for bold, decisive action matched the Templars' own aggressive style. On September 7, 1191, Richard's army marched south along the coast toward Jaffa, shadowed by Saladin's forces. At Arsuf, Saladin launched a massive assault. The Templars and Hospitallers, positioned in the vanguard and rearguard, absorbed the initial attacks. Then, at Richard's command, the Templars led a devastating countercharge that smashed Saladin's troops, securing a crucial victory that preserved the Crusader advance. Despite battlefield successes, Jerusalem remained beyond reach, its walls too strong for direct assault. Negotiations followed, leading to the Treaty of Jaffa in September 1192. The treaty preserved a narrow coastal strip from Jaffa to Tyre under Christian control and secured unarmed pilgrim access to Jerusalem, an imperfect but vital compromise. Throughout the Third Crusade, the Templars acted as guides, quartermasters, and battlefield leaders. Their fortresses became centers of Crusader administration and supply, keeping armies fed, armed, and organized. Their survival and resolve after Hatton helped maintain morale among Crusader forces, proving indispensable to the campaign's endurance. Though the Crusade failed to recapture Jerusalem, it stabilized the Crusader presence in the Levant for decades. The Templars' performance during this campaign solidified their reputation as Christendom's most reliable and professional fighting force. Yet the Third Crusade also marked the beginning of a long, grinding struggle to hold the Holy Land, a struggle that would only grow more desperate as Muslim power continued to rise. After the Third Crusade, the Crusader states lingered in a twilight of uneasy truces and intermittent wars. Though Jerusalem remained under Muslim control, the Christian presence endured in a chain of fortified coastal cities. The Knights Templar played a central role in holding these last bastions of Latin Christendom, even as relentless pressure and internal divisions eroded their strength. The Treaty of Jaffa preserved a narrow coastal strip with cities like Acre, Tyre, Jaffa, and Tripoli. The Templars poured their energy into fortifying these enclaves and maintaining lifelines to Europe. Acre emerged as the beating heart of the Crusader states. From the late 12th century onward, it became the de facto capital of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. On Acre's northern waterfront, the Templars built a massive fortress, one of the most imposing castles of the East. This citadel housed hundreds of knights and sergeants, guarded treasures, stockpiled weapons, and symbolized unwavering Crusader resolve. Other strongholds secured crucial approaches: Sidon and Beirut to the north, Gaza and Saft, inland and south. Chateau Pellerin, built after the Fifth Crusade, rose as one of the largest Crusader fortresses ever, with towering walls designed to withstand prolonged sieges. Yet the threats grew ever more severe. Over the 13th century, Muslim powers regrouped under formidable leaders like the Ayyubids and later the Mamluks. Their strength posed a constant danger to the fragile Crusader enclaves. Meanwhile, factional rivalries among Latin nobles, feuding Venetian and Genoese merchants, and competition between the Templars and Hospitallers weakened unity. These divisions squandered opportunities to strengthen the Crusader position. The Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, and Seventh Crusades brought new armies and flickers of hope. The Templars supported these campaigns with fortresses, funds, and manpower. But poor coordination among Crusaders doomed lasting success. The final onslaught began in the mid-13th century. Mamluk Sultan Baybars launched systematic campaigns to wipe out Crusader outposts. In 1268, Antioch, one of the oldest and grandest Crusader states, fell to his forces, sending shockwaves through Christendom. The last stand came in 1291, when Sultan al-Ashraf Khalil besieged Acre with overwhelming force. Templars, Hospitallers, and other defenders fought desperately amid collapsing walls and burning streets. On May 18, 1291, Acre fell after a brutal assault, ending nearly 2 centuries of Christian rule in the Holy Land. Chateau Pellerin and other remaining fortresses were abandoned or captured soon after. The surviving Templars evacuated to Cyprus, moving their headquarters to Limassol. Though the order remained wealthy and influential in Europe, its founding mission, defending the Holy Land, was gone. The trauma of Acre's fall devastated European morale, cast doubt on future crusades, and weakened support for the military orders. With the Crusader cities reduced to ruins, the Templars shifted from frontline defenders to stewards of properties in Europe, a transformation that left them vulnerable to powerful enemies eager to seize their wealth and break their independence.